All right, so this video is going to cover 3.1b using the U.S. customary units of measure. All these measurements will be in inches, so we will be using the inch side of the ruler, and we're going to create an isometric of this object based off the dimensions that are given. So the first thing we always do is analyze the drawing first before we start anything. We're going to create our imaginary box based off the total length is 2.75. The total height of the object is 1.0 plus 0.25. These marks that you see right here are a notation for inches. So I would add these two together and I get a total of 1.25, and then the depth on the object is going to be 0.5. So looking at my ruler is broken down. Remember that the smallest mark on this ruler is a 16th. So all these inside of here are 16ths. This is an eighth. This is a 1/4. This is a half. This is 3/4. And then we're up to 1. All the markings are the same between the numbers on the ruler, on the inch side of the ruler. So make sure that you reference the handout that was given that breaks down all the markings and notations of what the value of each of these markings are. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with my length, which is 2.75. Remember, when we're creating these isometrics, any line going left to right on the object will be at an angle. Any line going vertical on the object will be vertical in the drawing. So let's make our imaginary box. We're going to start with 2.75. So this is my 0 on the ruler. Always start at 0 or the first mark on the ruler. Oops, makes this box light. I'm going to 2.75 or 2 3/4. That's the equivalent. As a fraction, it'd be 2 3/4. As a decimal, it'd be 2.75. The line got a little darker than I would like it to be. We're going to focus on this, the depth right here, which is 0.5. I'm following the lines of the paper to give me the proper angle. Point 0.5 is right here. Remember, the total height of our imaginary box is going to be 1.25. So I'm going to put 1.25, which is 1 1/4 as a fraction. I'm going to put it at this point here. Make sure I'm at 0 here. Lightly draw that. Oops, went too far. Too far. Here, 0 here. So that means that this line back here is going to be the same height. 1 1/4 or 1.25. That means the same thing on this end. I'm putting my measurement here. Start at 0. Just a little bit. And now I should be able to connect all of these. Line this point up. This point right here. Line these points up. If I got everything drawn right, they should be lining right up. This measurement up here, a little bit high, so hopefully you can see. I'm gonna do 0.5 from up here. .5 right there. And these should match up right here. There's my imaginary space. Just adjust my camera just a little bit here. All right, so now we want to work on the details. So the first thing I notice is that this height up to this point right here is 1. The height from the base up to this line right here is 1. So I'm going to put 1 on my imaginary box. I'm going to start here at 1. And I'm going to make that line become an object line, so that means it's going to be darker. So I just pressed a little heavier on my pencil. I know that the base is 2.75, so I'll make it an object line now and make it darker. I know that this is 0.5. So make it darker. At this point, I go up 1 inch. Should be left with a 1/4 right there. Now, remember, this line isn't going all the way to the top of our imaginary space. This distance right here, if I did everything right, should be 1/4. Same as down here, should be 1/4 to this point. Now I'm at this line on the object. I know that the distance from this point right here, I'm going to come back 1 inch. I'm going to go up 0.25, come over 1 inch, come down 0.25, and then I'll get this rounded radius right here. So once again, I'm going to start at this point. I'm going to draw a line back 1 inch. I'm going to come up 0.25, go from there. This point starts right here. I put 1 inch right here. Notice I'm following. I'm trying to get my ruler to follow the contours of the box so everything kind of gets the same angle. So I'll come back 1 inch. This is going to be an object line, so I'm going to make it dark because it's going to stay. From there, I come up 1/4. Should take me to the top of the box. 1/4 or 0.25. From that point, I come over 1 inch. I come down 0.25. And then these should match up. And this should be 0.75. How do I know that? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 minus 2.75 will leave me with 0.75, which is 3/4 as a fraction. Okay. So the bulk of this is done. If you noticed, going to be some little a curve right in here, and then there's going to be this circle right in here. But So I'm going to get this line right here. That should be 0.5. It's going to be an object line. I'm going to come up to this point right here and take that back 0.5. Move to this point. Move to this point right here. Take it back 0.5. Okay. Now these points should line up. These points right here will line up. It's really simple. This line is going to be 1 inch. Let's put my 1 inch right here. I'm losing the lines of the imaginary box and just darkening those up, creating object lines. These lines match up here, which would be 0.5. Now that we have this line right here. It's a matter of drawing this line and then getting this section back here. So what we're going to do here is this should be 0.5. And then this would line up here. Now it's lining up. This point and this point are lining up, but I'm not going to draw the line straight through. It's going to stop here. I'm just using this back here to line these points up. So now to get this radius right here, it's 0.25. Just gonna do the best I can here to just curve this. And then this will come over here. So notice all I did was just blend this right in here. And then I drew a line across here and kind of make it look like it's curving over here as well. I'll come back and get rid of this. Now, normally I don't have you erase the imaginary box, but in this particular case, I want to be consistent. So as I erase that in, I'm going to erase the rest of this. Be neat about it. This is going to go into your engineering notebook for a grade. You will need to apply color to this. So make sure you get the color pencils and apply color. I missed a line right here. Now we're going to get the hole. Now, there's three things happening here. There's the size of the hole. This symbol, if you ever see this symbol on a drawing, it's a circle with a line through it. It stands for diameter. If you ever see this symbol on a drawing, this stands for radius. A radius means that you're only getting a portion of the circle, which is an arc off the circle. The diameter means you're getting the full circle. So our diameter for this circle is going to be 0.5, but we have to locate the circle. Where is it located on the surface here? So it's located 0.75 up and 1.25 over. Okay, so I'm gonna put my ruler here. And so I'm going to go from, this is 1 inch to here. Remember we did that measuring box, but we want to, because I don't want to measure upside down. I'm going to go from here. I'm going to go from here to 1/4. I'm going to go from 1, not quite at 1 there. I'm going to go from 1 inch down to 1/4. I'm going to make a mark. And at that mark, I'm going to come over 1.25. Lightly. So 1.25, which is 1 1/4. Right here. So that's what it's, so I went up 0.75 to this point, and then I took my ruler and came over 1.25 according to the dimensions on the drawing. Now it says that now it says that this should be the center of the circle. So we want a diameter of 0.5. A little tricky here. So that means that the radius of this circle is equal to 0.25. The radius is always half the diameter. Radius equals half the diameter. So 1/2 of 0.5 equals 0.25 inches. Always bring your units. All right, so what does that mean? So for me, at the center, I'm going to put, at the end of this line, which is the center of the circle, I'm going to put the marking of 1/4. I'm going to put a mark at 0. Okay. I'm going to move my 0 to the center. I'm going to put a mark at 1/4 again here. 2 marks there. And then it's a little tricky now. I'm going to put 1/4 at the center going vertically. Put a mark at 0. I'm going to move 0 to the center. Put a mark at 1/4. Okay. Now I'm just in the isometric view, a circle is not round. Do not try to create a round circle. It's more oval shape. And this has a little shade on it, so a little more difficult than 3.1a, but it's definitely doable. Take your time with it. You should stop the video during the process and make sure that you're doing exactly what I'm doing. My challenge to you is to try to do it without the video. And so yeah, this is a 3.1b isometric view.